Welcome back to the channel and another video. Not on the motorcycle today, but what will hopefully be a handy little addition for when we're working on the bike. So join me today while I unbox, assemble and give my first impressions on this rolling mechanic stool by Homcom. Let's do this. Just on a side note, if you like, enjoy or find this video useful or informative, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. As you can see, over the last 12 months, a massive nearly 97% of people watching these videos aren't currently subscribed. If you don't feel like subbing, then please just consider hitting that like button for me. Or if you feel like I've missed something or you've got any feedback, whether it's good or bad, pop a comment down below. Thank you. Right, so as you can see, opening the box up, all the contents are all tightly packed with minimal packaging, with hardly any plastic bags in sight. Apart from the plastic wrap on the wheels and the small bag of hardware and tools that I'm a fan of, as usually sometimes when you receive products they can come covered in plastic for every single piece and part, which saves you time, plus not having to dispose of everything, which is good for both you and the planet with this eco-friendly day and age we are currently living in. Also, what was a pleasant sight again, for me anyway, was no polystyrene in sight. I'm sure we all must have been there, where there can be excess or loose tiny balls of polystyrene floating around in the box, or the product is wedged in the box and God forbid you're slightly too forceful removing it from the box, or you even so much as look at it in the wrong way and you break it. Then with the slightest whisper of wind, and before you know it, you've turned your garden into what looks like the interior of a snow globe. So again, that was a plus for me anyway. Then for the eco-friendly minded people out there, that's another bonus point, not having to dispose of the stuff as well. And to be honest, with how well packed into the box everything was, I think there's not much chance of anything being scratched, marked or damaged. But as well, personally, I won't be too bothered if that was the case, as long as there was nothing broken and the product was still usable. With the price point, and the product will be used and be getting kept in a pack shed full of tools and equipment, so I imagine the product will receive the odd battle scar during normal use anyway. Moving on to the actual assembly, there's not really much to it, to be honest. As you can see, you just have to attach the wheels to the two metal pieces, then bolt them to the main body of the product. The only thing that proved a little tricky was attaching the metal bar pieces with the nut, washer and bolt, with the weight of the wheel making the metal piece want to tip over, making it a little tricky to line the holes up to get the bolt through, both the metal bar piece and the hole from the main frame, then getting the nut started on the bolt. But once you get the thread started, the opposite end is a little bit easier. Then just pop the two plastic side tray pieces into place and attach the seat via the pre-attached elastic straps, and that's job done. Right then guys, so there we go, the product is assembled, and I've got to say, first impressions out the box, I'm pretty pleased with this, to be honest. Fairly impressed. It seems a fairly well made product, nice and sturdy. So if we have a look at the product in more detail, I've got the manual here. It states on the front it's got 135 kilogram load capacity, so the weight you can put down onto the product. So if I flip over to the back here, It doesn't actually give me the dimensions of the product in the manual itself, so I've gone ahead and done a very crude drawing of the product. Hopefully that'll be on screen now so you can see. Let me know how I've done in the comments, but I'm not expecting any Blue Peter prizes, should we say, if any of you are old enough, sorry, to remember that program. Anyway, got myself a tape measure here, so I imagine the dimensions will be on the screen somewhere now once I've done the editing. So if we have a look at the front of the product, it's roughly, I think the trays stick out, yeah, the trays do stick out the most, not much to be honest, but if we get that roughly, the total width, you're looking at roughly 67 centimetres for the width. Let's have a look at the side profile now. I've got written down 33 centimetres. So let's have a look at the widest part, which is roughly 35 to 36 centimetres for that one. Let's have a look at the height now. So if we have a look at the height to the top of the foam padded seat, you're looking at roughly 40 centimetres for the height on the product, and I've got 35 centimetres written down there, so it's round about, it's roughly where it should be, sorry. Right, so I've got a couple of little notes on the back of here. Just covered the load capacity at 135 kilograms. The product weight on the box, the box that it came in is saying 7 kilograms. And I think, to be honest, this might be subjective to each person, you know, different strengths and builds, etc. But lifting the product up, to me, that's not 7 kilograms. It feels quite a lot lighter than 7 kilograms. I'd say more sort of 3 kilograms roughly. It's pretty light, to be honest. And talking about picking it up while we're on the subject, if you have a look under the side here, hopefully you can see that on camera, but if not, I'll insert a little image now. I'll take a picture and show you in more detail. There is sort of a little cut out in the formed plastic, so you can get your fingers in there and grip it just enough just to lift the product up. So there's that. Right, if we talk a little bit now about the tools that come, hopefully they're on screen somewhere now. There is a couple of little tools that do come with the product itself, 2 spanners, and I thought it was an Allen key at first, but it's the sort of a shape of an Allen key that you get free in products, but both ends seem to be a Phillips head, so sort of like a little screwdriver. And there's only a couple of little nuts and bolts, as you can see in the previous clips, where you need the little screwdriver and a spanner just to tighten the nuts up. Now, I think it's a nice little touch that they've give you them tools in the kit. I think, as we all know, you get flat pack furniture, etc., and you get the little tools provided, and they're really not good, you know, the Chinesium quality, should we say. But I think, to be honest, the tools that they have provided with the product, you can put the product together, as you've just seen in the previous sorry, excuse me, in the previous clip. You can put the product together with the tools provided. But as you can see in the footage, I did go and, after I assembled the product mostly and got everything snugged up, I did go and get a couple of my own tools, a bit more good quality tools. As you can see, that little screwdriver that I had is a JIS. If you don't know, Japanese industry standard. A lot better quality of a screwdriver, especially if you're working on Japanese motorcycles. They are a must. But anyway, apologies, I digress. Moving on to the side trays now, the little plastic side trays. To be honest, when I was assembling the product, I looked at them and I tried to put them in, and I was thinking, God, this is not very well made product, you know, it's not very thought out and secure. You try and put the trays in and rest it down, and it just sits there and flaps around. But looking at it more closely, if we flip it over to the back, hopefully you can see that on the camera there, there's sort of like two little rails moulded into the back of the plastic. And if we move around to the frame on this square bar at the front, them rails clip onto the frame, and hopefully you can see this as well. I'll try and put a picture on the screen now, a little screenshot or something, so you can see what I'm talking about. But moulded into the plastic itself is sort of like a little lip, and that pushes against the back of the tray. So you put the tray in, sort of going downwards at an angle, push it down, clip it onto the frame like that, and then once it's in, you know, it's sort of clipped in place. It is a little bit secure, but I imagine if you're wheeling round or you're moving round or you catch it with your foot or something, just be careful and mindful that that doesn't take much to pop off, you know, and you could lose the tray and your tools or hardware. They could go everywhere, so just to bear that in mind. Moving on, talking about the wheels now, to be honest. When I got this product out the box, I must say I was fairly impressed when I first seen them. They do seem like a half decent quality wheel. You know, they're a 360 swivel, and as you can see, two of the wheels here, they do come with the locking mechanism on them. I have tried to do these with my hand, and to be honest, they're fairly tough to get on with your hands. They do take a little bit of force to get on. They do take a little bit of force to get it on and lock it in place, but when you're undoing it, they do snap off. So I would advise you're probably best using your foot for them. You know, the product is on the floor when in normal use. So use your foot for them and lock the wheels in place. Sort of while we're in the same area and talking about the wheels, I've got to say I was also impressed on, you know, first impressions. There's a little bit of height here as well. You know, there's a little bit of ground clearance, which I'm glad about. You know, if you're wheeling the thing round, or you know, there's tools or stuff lying about, etc., there is a little bit of ground clearance there. So if I just measure that for you, as you can see there, you've got roughly 13 to 14 centimetres of ground clearance, so you shouldn't have any problem moving the product around itself. Looking at the seat, it's a fairly nice padded seat. Let's give that a measure. Hopefully you can see that on the camera, where it's coming in at roughly 3 to 3.5 centimetres thickness. So it feels fairly comfortable. You know, if you're sitting down working on something for a while, it seems like it should do the job fine. If you do need to take the seat off or clean it, wash it, whatever, stop it getting oily, it does come with these little elastic straps, as you can see, with the little buckles that you just unclip. Really easy to put on and off. Clip that into place. That's going nowhere. Fairly secure. If we move down to the front now, as you can see, this tray that we've got on the front, it's fairly thin, you know, plastic, bog standard tray, slots into the front like that. As you can see, there's nothing on the tray itself like to lock it into place on the product. It just simply slides in and it just stays there. So just be mindful of that. You know, if you are wheeling the thing round, working on things, you know, there is a chance if you give it a little shake, yeah, it will just slide out. So bear that in mind. But again, simple little storage box, put some tools in, fasteners, whatever it might be, pop them in there, keep them safe so you don't lose them. Happy days. So as you can see on the side pieces themselves, they are moulded with a few cutouts and some circular bits and some holes drilled in. So, you know, you're working on something, you can keep your tools right by you and always by your side so you're not losing them, putting them down, you know where they are again, etc, etc. So pop that tray back in. Give me a second, I'll go and grab a few little bits out the toolbox, grab a couple of little screwdrivers, a couple of cans or something, you know, aerosol cans, lubricants, penetrant release sprays, etc. And we'll fit them in and see how they feel. So one moment please, I'll go and grab them now. There we go. I've got a few little bits together just to show you. I brought this, I thought, you know, if you're working on something outside, especially, you like to have a brew or a drink close by. We've got this for the circular cutouts. It does go in, although I've got to say, if I am a little bit critical of the product and finding a little negative about it, to be honest, these circular cutouts, they're not very deep at all. They're, let me just measure one actually and give you an idea. That's coming in at about 5 centimetres, about 5 centimetres deep. So if you're putting something in, especially like a drink, it's not very secure in there at all. It's, you know, it's probably going to fall out if you're wheeling it round. And I think, to be honest, moving on to like your aerosol cans, you throw them in there, they're pretty much the same, to be honest, as the trays are not very deep themselves. They do wiggle around quite a bit, and I think you're wheeling the product round, there's a good chance like you're going to lose some cans like that. So if we have a little look, I've got a few little screwdrivers as well. There's a couple of different size slots in here, so the smaller ones fit in there. Your slightly thicker or longer screwdrivers go in there. A pair of mole grips, just throw that in there. And like a little pair of pliers, little needle nose pliers. There's a little cutout in there, so to be honest, they're fairly secure-ish. I think that they're more secure than the cans, to be honest, and they should stay in place by the look of it. Right then, so generally, first impressions, I'm pretty well impressed, to be honest. I'm rather happy with this purchase. It looks like it's going to do the job that I want it to do. Especially I think for the price point. I think I'll put the listing up now. I'll try and find it and put it on the screen somewhere now. I think it was roughly, I think it was $42.99. So I think that's fairly well priced. To be honest, for what it is, it's fairly well built and secure. It's a metal frame. The sides are plastic and the trays, but generally pretty well made, I think, to be honest, in my opinion. If you are interested in purchasing this product itself, I'll put a link somewhere on the screen now. This is not a plug or a product sponsorship or, you know, an affiliation. I won't get paid anything if you decide to purchase this product through one of these links. I won't get paid anything. This is just my personal opinion on the product. I'm not in contact with the company. Talking of which, the branding on the box and the product, it's called a Homcom, and I'll get you the product number now. I'm sure it'll be on the screen somewhere now, which is C20-085V00. So if you'd like to go and check that out and purchase one yourself, there you go. There we go, that's the product. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Click the little notification bell if you'd like to be notified of future videos. Thank you very much for watching. Ride safe. See you soon. Bye bye.